Hey, everybody, and welcome to the 10-Minute Book Talk. I'm your host today, Katherine Reay, and here is where you find three best-selling authors sharing with you all things bookish for 10 short, sweet minutes. We have a special treat because my co-host, Marie Bostwick, is here, but our co-host and guest for the day, Rachel Linden, is celebrating something super special. She's celebrating the launch of a second chance Scottish summer, and I have to tell you, this is a yummy story in every single respect, and we are so excited that she's here to share it with us today. So, Rachel, tell us a little bit about your new novel.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. I am so excited. Okay, so this was just a fun little passion project that I did while I was writing another book that I'm also excited about to share with you later. And it's really fun. So as you can see from the title, it has a second chance romance theme. It is set in Scotland, in Oban, in the West Highlands on the coast of Scotland. So it's a fabulous, really delicious, fun setting. And it features a hot redheaded chef in a kilt making cheese. It features adorable Highland cows. Um, the main story is about Avery, a restaurant consultant who is used to shutting down people's dreams. She liquidates restaurants for a living, and she is haunted by a family tragedy and has determined that she will never go back to Oban. But of course, circumstances ensue. She ends up going back, and she butts heads with this hot Scottish chef who she had a crush on in high school and now despises for reasons that will become clear. And they butt heads over her family's historic manor house, the fate of her family's historic manor house. They both have competing plans for it. And it all essentially it becomes a story about whether she's going to risk for the life she wants or stay safe
Mhm.
in the life that she's built.
That's going to be fun. I wonder what she'll choose. So, what inspired this story?
It's a romance, so it's not like
I, I
it's not
already
like a
read it.
cliffhanger.
I know.
What inspired it?
Uh, I was thinking, so I write books based on food. Like I have lots of food themes. And so I just finished one that comes out in September that's set in Italy on an olive farm, The Secret of Orange Blossom
Mm.
Cake. I loved writing that book. It was set in Italy. I felt like I went to Italy for 5 months while I was writing it. I went to Italy to do research and it was delicious. Just gelato and olives and wine and all the good stuff. And I decided while I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, well, what's the next one going to be? And I thought, well, what do people love? What do women love? Cheese. We love cheese. And so we have a book club, Marie and I, and women just go Google over cheese. And I was like, okay, I think I want to write a book about cheese. What countries make really good cheese? And I thought about Scotland and I was like, wait, adorable Highland cows, a guy in a kilt making cheese. And so I just started asking women, like, hey, would you want to read a story about a hot redheaded chef in a kilt making cheese? Not a single person was like, no, that doesn't sound good. Everyone was like,
Boring.
where can I get this story? And I thought, I'm going to do that. So I actually, on the way to Italy, I combined the trips and I went to Scotland. And so that is where the idea came from. It popped into my
Wow.
head thinking about cheese, thinking about things women love. And then I was like, this just sounds like such a fun story to write.
And
Fantastic.
it was a fun story to read too. I really enjoyed it. So I do want you to, so you got to go to Scotland. Oh, poor Rachel, suffering for
Poor
art
me.
as we do.
Italy,
Yeah,
Scotland.
it's rough.
Terrible.
It's rough. It's a hard job. Someone has to do it.
Mhm.
So I do want to know about your research, but I also was particularly like, so she's a restaurant liquidator. I mean, like, is that a thing? So tell us about your research, but I particularly want to know about that because I'd never heard of that before.
Oh, apparently it is a thing where people help kind of break down businesses that are failing so that they are as you lose as little as possible. So she has some personal trauma related to a business, a family business that she feels like she failed. And so she kind of found her niche in breaking down other people's dreams, but she's miserable. And what she really wants is a second chance at life and at love and an ability to make something grow. And she is given that in Scotland. So the research that I did, we this book was originally supposed to be set on the Isle of Mull, in this adorable little town. When we got to Scotland, it was in some kind of, it was in the middle of an epic gale, and they had canceled all the ferries. And we also had our rental car blew a tire, and we got stuck in Oban, Scotland, which is a wonderful place to be stuck. It is the seafood capital of Scotland. It's this darling town in the West Highlands on the coast, looking at the Isle of Mull. So we could see the Isle of Mull, we couldn't get to it. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I think this story is going to be built in Scotland. It's going to be in Oban instead. So it switched, not Isle of Mull, to Oban. And I spent some delicious days just wandering around, eating cheese and enjoying Oban. And so it was really fun in the story to be able to put that kind of stuff in. I also learned a lot about how to make cheese, which I did not know before, and a few things about Highland cows, Scottish weather. There are all sorts of little tidbits I've picked up. And I put a recipe for a very popular, common Scottish dessert in the back of the book as well. So there's a
Oh, I
fun little
love
recipe you can try.
Love these little bonuses.
it. Now, one thing about this book, it's a little shorter than previous novels. Was the writing experience different to condense? Or was it
Mm.
the same? Or what differences did you find in crafting this story, say, versus the Italian one, which I think is a little
Yeah, so
longer format?
that's a good question. So this is a shorter novel. It is a little bit more than half the length of my others. So it's longer than a novella, shorter than the novels I usually write. And I actually really enjoyed it. It felt like a little petit-four, like this little bite-sized,
Mhm.
yummy dessert. Um, it's true that you can't weave quite as many things into it. The story is a little bit simpler. There maybe aren't quite as many characters, but it still incorporates all the things that I love, which is food, family complexity, an amazing sense of place, a little bit of Highland magic in this one, second chance romance, and a personal growth arc. So it has all of those elements. It's just a little bit shorter and sweeter.
Mhm.
No, I think it's true. I think, you, having read it, you incorporated all the things that we love about a Rachel Linden novel into it. It's just a little more compacted, but it's no less rich. So it was a lot of fun to read. But speaking of a Rachel Linden novel and the things that we come to expect, you say it's a romance, and we love that. But even when you're writing a romance, I find there's always like a little nugget of wisdom or a takeaway that kind of makes the book extra worthwhile for reading. So what's that nugget here for you in this book and Second Chance Scottish Summer?
Oh, yeah. I always hope that a reader walks away with a little nugget to put in their pocket that somehow enriches their own life. And in this one, the main character, Avery, is really hobbled by failure. She has failed, as all of us have failed. And we were actually talking about this with another interview that we will air, I don't know, in the next month or two, with authors about how, like, we all fail, and it's about what you do with it. And unfortunately, what Avery has done is been so traumatized by this failure that she has insulated herself from risk. She doesn't want to risk again because she feels like she failed so badly. And so the whole story, the nugget of the story is allowing her to get to the point where she has to choose if she will risk for the life she really wants, or if she's going to continue to protect herself and insulate herself from the possibility of failure and the pain of failure again. And I think that that's a kind of universal theme that all of us fail. No one likes failure, but failure becomes what you make of it in a certain way. Like, are you going to let it hobble you, or are you going to take it, learn from it, and go forward a little bit wiser and a little bit more humble, but also willing to take risks for the things that you really want?
That's a good nugget.
Yes, it
Thanks.
is.
So, I've got one more question for you, but before I ask it, I want to ask another question. Where can
Mm.
readers find A Second Chance Scottish Summer?
Okay, well, it is out now and it is available on Amazon. Right now, it's an Amazon exclusive on that in that short novel format, and you can get it with ebook and with print. So you can get it to
Wonderful.
hold in your hands if you like that better, or if you are an ebook reader, you can do that as well. And I believe I'm trying to think if I think we have a pre-order sale that goes up until the date it comes out, but I think it's just come out. So, but still, it's a really good deal as well. So it's a shorter book and the price is very, very sweet.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so what, Rachel Linden, is bringing you joy today?
You know, it's spring in the Pacific Northwest, which is my favorite season. And last year on Mother's Day, I planted two little cherry trees because our family loves cherries. Washington State is known for cherries, and I adore how they look when they bloom. And my cherry trees
Mhm.
are blooming, and they're little, they're just covered in these little blooms. They're the sweetest little trees, but they
Oh,
both survived the winter and they're both full of blooms. And so that is bringing me joy today to look out the window and see those little sweet cherry trees full of blooms.
oh, I
That's a good
love
thing.
that. I love that. And readers, we are so happy that you were with us today. So, Rachel, will you hold up your book again?
I will. This giant,
Okay,
giant poster of
hop
it.
on to Amazon and find A Second Chance Scottish Summer, and then come back here next week for another interview with another fabulous author. And thanks so much for being here today. Bye bye.
Yeah.